For today's creature feature, we begin this video once again in Hollywood, California. Have to say hello to the iconic Hollywood sign every time I come to California. And today's episode is very special because I've been working on creating this video for nearly 2 years. For the first time ever on video, the filming locations for Dark Night of the Scarecrow, a Halloween television movie that originally premiered on CBS on October 24th, 1981. Perhaps you remember this one. Vincent Price said, "Marvelous, I was terrified." When young Tanya Crow is found viciously mauled, all hell breaks loose in her small rural town. Officious postmaster Otis P. Hazelrig leads a gang of bigots in pursuit of the suspect, who is her mentally challenged friend Bubba Ritter, finding him hiding inside of a scarecrow. Bubba is hiding out from a bunch of bigots and town goons that think that he is up to no good and just murdered a young girl, but in fact he saved her life. They surround him as he's out in the middle of a cornfield and they murder him. And the whole movie is about the Scarecrow coming back and taking revenge, becoming the vigilante on the vigilantes who did him the injustice of blowing him away. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome if it's your first time. I'm Tampa J, and I love me some spooky movies, some horror movies, and I love going to where the movies are made. This is a deep cut for you. Odds are you've never seen this movie. This movie, the first time I ever watched it, terrified me, and it stuck with me, and I knew someday I wanted to come out here to California and see where it was made all those years ago, back in 1980. This movie right here, not a very gory, not a very violent, well, it is pretty violent, not a very typical horror movie, but pretty terrifying for being a TV movie. And the main stars of this film is Charles Durning. He plays Hazelrig, a vicious postmaster that thinks he is the sheriff in town. A vigilante, also young Tanya Crow, Mr. Larry Drake. You might remember him from Darkman, he's one of the villains. Also, Marlon Brando's sister, Jocelyn Brando, plays the mother of Larry Drake, who plays Bubba. Also, Lane Smith. You might remember Lane Smith from Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. It was considered a family Halloween TV movie, and it is very rare. It's very well made. It was directed by Frank D. Fallida. It is a Wiesen film. And although we begin here in Hollywood, Dark Night of the Scarecrow was filmed in a small town just outside of Los Angeles called Peru, P-I-R-U. Mostly 99% filmed there, and also at Sky Ranch Studios. And so we go to begin these locations of Dark Night of the Scarecrow. There's much ahead, and I just happen to be driving right by it, so might as well show it. Welcome to the 1978 Halloween filming location, the main gates of Smith's Grove. That's where Michael Myers stole the station wagon, right there. Just passing by it. And welcome to the small town of Peru, California, where they filmed Dark Night of the Scarecrow. A ton of scenes were filmed right here downtown, and a lot of these places still look as they did in the movie, including Hazelrig's post office, which is right there. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. I will put a picture into frame, a screenshot from the movie of this very post office. As you can see, it hasn't changed much at all. The windows, the doors, the main door has not changed. They filmed inside and outside. You can actually see Hazelrig's mail truck in the screenshot. It's parked, would have been parked right here today. The windows, it all matches up. I got it into frame for you as we get closer. It's not open today, it is Sunday, so let's see if we can peek inside. All right, so I think the counter would be on the other side where they film the scenes. Can't really see, you can see some of the post office boxes. There were several scenes filmed inside this post office, including one of the first. Lane Smith, Harless Hawker, Farmer Hawker, comes in to let Hazelrig know that he's done it. Bubba has done it, just like you said he would do. This is so cool. I wanted to start with a post office because it's a great establisher of Peru. California. Neat. Now the next filming location, get this. Hazelrig lived in a boarding house in the movie. You don't see it, but it is actually, you don't see it in the movie. Across the street, our next filming location is right there, the boarding house. Check out this abandoned building here. Ooh. I don't think that was in the movie, but it could have been. Ooh, what was that? That was scary. Could have been the Scarecrow. And the boarding house was called Bunch's Boarding House. There was a sign in the front yard in the film. It is known as the Mountain View Inn and Restaurant. It's a bed and breakfast. Looks like they're having some sort of event today. Here's the screenshot. I got it here on my phone. Bunch's Boarding House. You can see the steps and the railing. Has not changed. I'm going to get a little closer. And it looks the same as it did in the movie back in 1981. The Bunch's Boarding House sign is almost in the same location as the current day sign. I'm sure they just moved it or put it a little to the left. I think it's always been called Mountain View Inn and Restaurant. I think it's always had that name. As you can see, it has not changed, and they did film inside. Alright, so right behind me is Center Street, which is pretty much the main downtown strip. There's a couple locations down this street. I'll walk and show you and match up screenshots, of course. But right here where it says coffee, that was the diner slash bar where we saw, one of the moments we saw Lane Smith in there drinking beers and laughing it up about Hazelrig, saying he's going to get some fried chicken here at the boarding house, if you remember that scene. Also, one of the most iconic moments of the movie is after Hawker gets eaten up at the farm by the wood chipper, it cuts to a plate, and on that plate, a big gob of jelly, kind of alluding that to blood. It was a great edit. It was a great idea. That was one of my most favorite parts, but I believe Hazelrig is sitting at the table and they're eating breakfast this very end right here. That's a great spot. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out before we get going further. Also, check out this mountain over here. Oh yeah, and I want to point out that I will be going to the farm where it all began, Bubba's farm. It's not too far from here, and it took me a while to find that one. And although they never mentioned the name of the town in the movie, I feel like this was meant to be set in like Texas or the Midwest. It's a very cool spot to film a horror movie. And it looks like the filming location, the cafe from Dark Night of the Scarecrow, is a coffee shop. Hey, I need some coffee. I'm gonna grab some coffee first, give them a little business, and come out and share this filming location. These three buildings right here, all the way to the corner of the street, you can see in Dark Night of the Scarecrow. They haven't changed much. All right, I'm glad I came in because they did film in here. There's a nice long shot coming from outside. You got Lane Smith sitting at the table. Notice atop of him, you see on the wall there a set of antlers. Up here, beyond the open sign, you see a beam right there. That beam is still in here. They did film in here. That beam is right up here. You can see this behind them as they're sitting at the table right over here in the movie. Yeah, I'll put that in the screen for you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you. I'll put that in the lower right-hand corner. They were sitting back there behind the present-day coffee bar. This beam has always been here, and you could see it up to the right beyond that open sign in the background. So yeah, welcome to the filming location. The interior scene of the bar slash cafe. They also mocked this up and had breakfast. They had the breakfast scene in here as well. And another scene here, Lane Smith coming back into the restaurant when it's set up more so as a diner. All right, I put this into frame. Lane Smith, Hawker walking in that door. Check out the pattern of the brick to the left and to the right before the doorway. Right here. Pretty neat. He was walking up, he parked his truck over here, walked up the sidewalk, and walked in. All right, I put the screenshot in the lower right-hand corner. The cafe sign in the film was like hanging right here where the light is. And you can clearly see into the window, the neon signs in the window. This is the doorway, same doorway we just saw. And then the camera at the end of the scene kind of moves up this way along the sidewalk. And you can see that window, which has not changed. Put that screenshot in there. Here you go. It's a good matchup here. Lower right hand corner. Love doing that. And then the camera kind of turns up this way and to the corner. And in the movie, this was what, 40 something years ago? That building on the corner was abandoned then. It was all boxed up, or it appears to be. It's all boxed up now. It's a good shot of this corner right here. Great coffee. Also, they still serve beer in there. Hawker loved his beer. He was drinking and driving the whole film. No matter where he went, he had a beer in his hand. So in the beginning of the film, I mentioned that they did film a couple scenes at Sky Ranch. Hawker's farm, the barn, the farmhouse, the wood chipper scene. Hawker falls into the wood chipper. That was filmed on Sky Ranch on a movie set that I recognized from another horror movie. It was the same set as Leprechaun. The farm from Leprechaun was also Hawker's farm in Dark Night of the Scarecrow. It's not there anymore. It's been torn down years ago. They also used that set for a lot of television films during that time. All right, we're progressing down Center Street here. We're heading down to the gas station. I can see it down there on the corner. All right, so most of the filming took place on this side. The camera out towards the street, shooting back. Oh yeah, this is where the gas pumps were. This is where the truck pulled up. There's the garage door that Skeeter came out when we first saw him. And when Hazelrig was coming up in his mail truck, you actually see this gas station all in the screen for the first time. I'm gonna come back and then get a little closer, break down these screenshots. It's a pretty neat old gas station. If I was just rolling through Peru showing stuff, I would stop here and put this in a video. This is the stuff I like to see. Looks like it was called Eddie's Service Station. You can see it right there. But this is Skeeter's Service Station in Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Hazelrig is actually on top of Hawker's truck right here. They just came over from the post office and they're trying to round up a mob to go after Bubba. And they're coming to get Skeeter. You can see the building right there, then and now. That's incredible. Also, the building out there beyond the gas station is in frame. Not much has changed. You really don't see the mountains in this screenshot. I think they were just trying to hide them. You can't hide them later, but it was a very tight shot as they're approaching the gas station. This is really neat. All right, I'm gonna recreate this shot right here the best I can. Notice it's cropped. It's because they haven't formatted this for modern day TVs. Nope. Or at least, well, on my Blu-ray, I took this off of, I think I got this version off of Amazon, but that door right there is the same. The doors, the windows are just boarded up. There was oil sitting right here, and this is where the truck pulls up. Oh, here's where the fuel pumps were. Sorry for the noise. Pretty busy here in Peru. Yeah, right here you can see the corner of the building in the shadows, the window as they're loading the hounds in the back of the flatbed truck. They get up in the flatbed truck right here, and there's a nice shot. You can see the mountain beyond Hazelrig's helmet there. That peak right up there, right here on the corner. Also, later in the movie, there's a shot of Hazelrig coming over to get Skeeter, and he steps right outside of this door here. It was open in the movie. There's the screenshot. There was a bunch of hubcaps on the wall here. That's a cool matchup right there. Yeah, he was standing right there in the doorway. Oh yeah, this is cool. So that building that's white today was painted lime green, and you can make out the corner post as you see in this screenshot with that in the background. There's like a red mailbox right there on that pole. That's a really cool shot. There you go. That's really neat. Got it down there in the right hand corner. The gas station from Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Amazing. So there is not very much information on this movie, how it was made, where it was made. There was one website that had a couple locations. Before I went to investigate, I found it. I'll put a link in the description below to give proper credit where it's due. But most of the stuff I had to go digging on my own, and there's a lot of mysteries. Can't find some stuff, and that typically happens, especially when you're the first one to investigate. You're working with nothing. You're just relying on images. I use a lot of Google Maps just kind of before I get here to look around, try to figure it out. Also the music, the creepy score. I say that as the bells strike up. really adds to this film. It was done very well. They had a great budget for a Halloween movie, for a TV movie. It is 10:59. And the wind picked up. Is the Scarecrow here? And I'm really excited to head out to the main location of the movie, the Ritter farm, where it all went down. Bubba's mother, himself, his home, where the Scarecrow was out in the middle of the field, all filmed in a spot right here in Peru. And it took me hours upon hours in my spare time to find this spot. And I literally found it by looking at the skyline, looking out the mountains in the background, and using Google Maps. It took me a year to find this spot. Now, I don't know how close we can get down to it, but I can definitely show you where it is. We're gonna go try to go out there and pinpoint where the Scarecrow was shot, where Bubba was shot in the Scarecrow costume. They filmed a lot out here, and I found it. I'm so stoked. I love this stuff, and it's always cool to discover a new filming location that no one's ever shared before. So really looking forward to it. And on the north side of town, welcome to Peru Elementary. This is where I believe they filmed the Halloween party, the school party where Hazelrig came and basically showed himself here. He was going crazy. He walked into the party and confronted the little girl in her costume. I believe they filmed those scenes here. There's nothing to confirm or deny it, but I'm just going to take an educated guess. We will leave a mystery. We will not say yay or nay, but it looks like some of those scenes were filmed right there, which might be the gymnasium. Also, the windows look kind of similar, as you see. Just an interior shot, no exterior establishing shot. But I just wanted to stop by here and throw it in the video. Maybe someone can confirm. It would have to be someone that worked on the movie. That's the thing with these things. These locations are lost unless they're documented right away, or someone eventually remembers and says, hey, yeah, I worked on that movie, and that's where we filmed it. That's how a lot of lost locations are refound. But I do believe they filmed right here, my opinion, my guess, at Peru Elementary School, specifically the Halloween party. And before we head out to the Ritter farm, I just want to say the filming locations that are a mystery that I could not find, that no one has found. We've got the school, we've got the courtroom, the courthouse scene, and also the house where it all went down in the beginning of the film, where the dog mauled the little girl. Those are a mystery, and also the little girl's house as well. That was filmed in, like, you don't see the outside, so there's 3 or 4 little scenes that we don't know where they were filmed. And also, okay, this is a big scene. The co-op. If that thing was around, I think I would find it, but I think that was torn down. That is where the grain silo is. The corn silo comes in and ultimately drowns one of the bigots and part of the gang that went after Bubba. That, have no idea where that was. I tried very hard to find that. That's a very iconic scene, that co-op in Dark Night of the Scarecrow. So if you know where any of these are, please comment below. Would love to chat with you about the movie too, if you've seen it. I hope you're enjoying this video. Thank you so much for watching. Now it's time to head down to the farm to see where the Scarecrow began. And the scenes of the Ritter farm, Bubba's farm, was filmed also right here in Peru, actually on the outskirts. We actually have to take a left up here on Canyon Road. And we come to Peru Canyon. Peru Canyon Road, actually 3810 Peru Canyon Road is the exact address of the farm where they filmed Dark Night of the Scarecrow. It's right across the way here. Although this is a rural road, it's very busy, so you gotta bear with me. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, so the way I found this was because of the mountains back then in the movie, specifically the scenes in the field with the Scarecrow where they shot Bubba. You can see these mountains behind him, and this is how I found this spot, just matching up the mountains on Google Earth all the way at that time in Florida and matching them up with screenshots. And I can show you exactly how I found that. Now, I don't know how close we can get out into this property. It is private property, but it's the field right back here, specifically in this spot, is where the farm was, and where the field where the scarecrow was. You see these three mountains right here that have these kind of dips? I'll put the screenshot into frame. ... Because of this screenshot right there, that's how I found this spot. Those little three formations right there. Just going on Google Maps. So this is where they filmed most of the movie. You can actually, there's screenshots I'll show you, but you can see all these mountains in the background of all those scenes. And they built that house, the Ritter house, somewhere out on this property, and they burn it down just for the movie. Also, this might be a filming location right here. They may have used this house as the as one of the first scenes where she gets mauled by the dog. It looks like the house in the beginning of the film, just kind of hidden. Noticing a lot of no trespassing signs on the fences here. All right, so this is cool. I'm gonna put this screenshot into frame, focus in on it, see where the scarecrow is. Yellow arrow pointing to that hump. Okay, here we are, present day, looking out over the farm, that field. That hump is right there. I will put it back into frame for you. Another clue to confirm that they filmed out here on this farm. Then and now. These mountains, gotta be careful here. I'm really close to the road. Obviously these mountains are not gonna change that much. Also, you can see like this little indentation up here that sticks out. But right out there, past where that trailer is, in that grassy field, is where the scarecrow was in the first of the movie. And probably the most iconic spot of the movie, the widest angle. This really helped me to find this stretch of mountains in the scene. Low, wide angle. If you use your imagination, and now that you know where that field was, beyond that trailer, yeah, this is the spot, this farm right out here in Peru. Dark Night of the Scarecrow. That may actually be the home where the little girl got mauled by the dog. You don't see this on film. The windows match up on that right side, and it was painted red in the movie, and this house looks very old. I think that's the house, opposite angle. But Bubba and the little girl walk right beside that house into the backyard where the fence was. So they filmed that out here as well. Incredible. Yeah, that's it. That's where it all started. That trailer I don't think was there back in the 1980s. It looks a lot newer. But yeah, some of the same trees are up there on that mountaintop. All right, I'm putting this screenshot into frame. Check out the arrow. There's a discolored portion of the mountain there, which I think I see right now. Out there beyond the trailer. Hold on, pause for the noise. Out there beyond the trailer, I believe right up in there I see that same discoloration. Just confirming more that this field was beyond that trailer back then. I might be the only one that really cares, but if I were to drive up into that driveway, I could match up some trees for you. I could definitely go out into that field and pinpoint the spot where the scarecrow was because of those mountains. In the pictures of the scenes I'm displaying right now, look all the way around. This is the most infamous moment of the movie. They're about ready to shoot Bubba and the scarecrow. Very terrifying. But this was filmed right out here behind me at this farm. I thought I was going to be able to get a little closer, but they have the gate shut and clearly no trespassing everywhere. I'm sure right now there's someone probably looking at me like, what's that guy doing? I don't think too many people know. Actually, for the first time on video, welcome to the farm from Dark Night of the Scarecrow. It was the mountains that did it. Now, the barn's gone. I saw on Google Earth there were some old barns out here about 8 years ago, but there was clearly a barn, there was a stream, there's a lot of trees. Perhaps some of the trees are still out there. Bubba ran through the brush. There's a lot of brushy spots out there. Had we had permission to go out, we could match up a ton of stuff. And also at the end, in the scene, in the dark, can't really tell, but there is a cornfield where the final showdown goes down. Hazelrig versus the Scarecrow. Bubba gets his ultimate revenge. And then a really cool scene right at the end where the Scarecrow actually raises his hand and gives the little girl, pause for it, a flower. Very last moment of the movie. Now, I believe they may have filmed out here in this luscious valley. There's a lot of crops out here, I noticed as I was driving up into this portion of California. We're only 13 miles from Six Flags, Magic Mountain. Not too far from LA. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this filming location video of Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Please feel free to share it. Give it a thumbs up if you're a fan of the film. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's streaming. I got this on Amazon. And I don't know if it's one for the kiddos, but back then it was. Things have changed. But just a little fair warning, it is a little dated. So, guys, I've always wanted to come out and do this. Now, I wish I could have got a little closer. I had a feeling I was not going to be able to encroach. But just to be out here in this valley, to see these mountains, and got a good vantage point of where it went down. That did it for me. And I hope it did it for you if you're a fan of this film. And if you're not, I hope you just enjoyed the video. This is a part of California I would have never gone to in my entire life if it wasn't for this movie. And it's amazing how all of my filming locations do that. Like, why was I gonna go to a random Boy Scouts camp in New Jersey before, or why would I go if they hadn't made Friday the 13th, if you catch my drift? Just referencing another old video there. Guys, thanks for watching, sticking to the end. For today's creature feature, we end it right here in Peru, California. I hope you enjoyed the video. There will be a next one. Much ahead. Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Also, cool to find another location within a location. Love how that happens. Ooh. I'm just gonna call it the Bubba Breeze. This one was for you, Bubba. Alright, good night, Peru. We'll be back for you. Yes, we will. And I must add, if you like filming locations, make sure to check out my filming locations playlist over on the main page of my YouTube channel. Almost forgot to say it. Alright, I'm heading out. Heading back to Vegas. Watch ahead.